Hello, angels. So I didn't know if I was going to be sharing this story publicly and online. I definitely been thinking about it recently, but I was just upstairs and just breathing in the sunshine and breathing in my higher self when my higher self said, you need to go on live today and share this story about what happened. So I titled this video When Archangel Michael Saved My Life, and that was not clickbait. I'm going to actually share with you the story of what happened. I do want to preface this video first. I'm about to share about something that involves violence and trauma. So if you are not ready to or in a place to hear about this, then please just do your heart a favor and bounce out. But I wanted to share this story because I feel like it can genuinely help people. There's a few aspects to this story of what happened to me that I think that are very powerful and hopefully will serve people later on in your journeys. So first, I just want to give you a backstory of my relationship with Archangel Michael. So Archangel Michael is the sapphire blue angel and so much more than that. The archangel of the sapphire blue ray, working with gold, working with violet, and really working with all colors, but predominantly with that sapphire blue energy. And he is the angel that is known as the protector. And it's really easy to diminish what we hear when we hear about angels. It's really easy to see it on an oracle card and be like, oh, he's going to protect me. Cool. Yay. Okay, bye. And just think it's kind of fluffy and, maybe not ultimately real. But Archangel Michael truly is a protector. He is a warrior. He's called sometimes the Prince of the Archangels because he works on that first ray, that blue ray energy, which is about the will of God, divine will. Okay. So I have been connecting consciously with Archangel Michael since I was probably a preteen. It started when my mom got me to ask for help. Archangel Michael, thank you for helping me on my tests and things like this. So it kind of got in my head. It's funny, even though I was raised Catholic, she never said that about Jesus. She said that about Archangel Michael. So, I started just asking Archangel Michael for help. And then when I had my spiritual awakening, I immediately went to the angels, and I found myself in a car one day, in my car, not a car, my car, for the first time really invoking Archangel Michael from a book that I was reading. And it said to summon him 3 times out loud, his name, and I really wanted to go deeper. So I said, I just said like, Michael, 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 and I didn't know where that came from. Because I was going to say Archangel Michael. And really what that was this ancient remembrance of the more ancient pronunciation of his name that in other lifetimes I was used to working with, Michael or Michael, Michaela. So I started working deeply with Archangel Michael, calling him in, and really recognizing that, I'm a blue ray being. I work on the blue ray. I feel in some ways that Archangel Michael is kind of my boss. And in some ways I feel like I'm an aspect of Archangel Michael, that he is me and I am him, but also like, obviously he's like a super massive archangel, but you get it, right? If you work with these specific frequencies, you just feel like a home, a oneness. So that's me and Archangel Michael as a little bit of a backstory. So I always asked him to protect me and be around me and mentor me. So let's get to the story when Archangel Michael intervened in my life, and just thank you for that. So this happened in France, this story that I'm about to tell you, in the south of France. So funnily enough, when I experienced getting attacked, was it in Mozambique, Southern Africa? Was it in South Africa? Was it in South America, Central America, the Middle East, Egypt? No. It was in fucking France. Okay, so just side note, stuff like this can happen anywhere. So I was in the south of France, and I had been working a lot that day on the computer, getting ready to launch a course. And I just felt like I needed to go for a walk. It was the summer, it was sunshine. And I was in this small town. And I chose this small town because of the proximity to a lot of like different really amazing places, because I wasn't going to rent a car. I'm not like super comfortable renting cars all around the world. So I chose this town because I could walk to the train and get everywhere. But the town itself like didn't have the best energy, which I realized once I got there. I was like, okay. So I went to go for a walk on the river, and I had found this place the day before that was kind of like a little bit hidden and a little bit more isolated than the rest of the paths on the river. And I love being in nature by myself, so I'm always like trying to go to the places that like other people aren't. And so I was walking to this place on the riverside, and the first thing I noticed, because I take a different way to get there this time, is there's kind of like some garbage around, and there's some like tents that were like a tent that had been left, and it just didn't feel like very clean energy. There was like a density there, and I noticed that, and I took that in, but I just kept going because I was like, well, this is like, I'll just go a little bit further where the sunshine is on the river and it'll be nice. And then, you know, I sat down by the river, and I had this feeling in my body like I want to go back and like keep working and keep creating, like I want to keep working and keep creating. But I kind of overrode that, and I said like, okay, I need to be outside. Being outside is good for me, in the sunshine, just relax. So already in this story, a couple things. The vibes weren't great. I was registering that. It wasn't a very pure energy, even though it was outside by the river. And two, my body was like, I want to go. I want to get out of here. And, you know, I want to keep creating. But my mind said, no, this is a good place to be. I should be here. So the other thing also, in that moment, I was getting really mad because I was learning about the Cathars in the south of France. And the Cathars, who are a really sort of pure-hearted people that were an offshoot of Christianity, that said actually that Mary Magdalene sort of almost founded the Cathar religion. And the Cathars honored feminine and masculine equally. They honored gnosis and self-knowing. And I was learning about them, and I was learning about how brutally they were raped and murdered. So I was really angry. So I was like sitting by the river being like, fuck you, like fucking shadow forces. Like, I was just like, I usually don't do that, okay? So I was like dipping my toe in the like, yo, shadow forces, like, fuck you. Like, so all of this was setting me up for something probably that wasn't great, okay? So then I'm like, okay, you know, had my time, and there's this man that starts walking along the river, and I look at him and I'm like, oh, like this, like his soul was, that was not a soul walking, that was something in a body, but not a soul. And I immediately feel uncomfortable, so I get my stuff and start to leave. And as I have my stuff and I'm beginning to walk away, he stops, and he turns around and he stops me on the path. He's right in front of me. And I just like, I'm going to give this to the violet flame because I haven't really told very many people about this, and it's even like traumatic for me talking about it, but I think it's a good release. So just like bear with me that I'm feeling a little bit emotional right now. So this man like stops me. And I'm like, oh, hey, like, I'm just trying to, like, get around. And this is France, so he's speaking to me in French. And I speak, like, decent French, but I pretend I don't speak French just so I don't have to deal with him. Or so I thought. And he was like, oh, je veux juste parler, je veux parler avec toi. You know, I just want to talk with you. And I was like, oh, je parle pas français, I don't speak French, you know, I'm just gonna leave. And then he starts to move and like literally block my way. And then I start to like, okay, like I'm completely by myself in nature. Like, okay, what do I do? And I start like, okay, I'm like, maybe if I just get a bit firm with him, I'm like, hey, like let me pass. And then he's like, oh, je veux juste parler. And then like literally like it goes from like a kind of a confrontational situation to just like intense, so intense right away, because he grabs my neck and starts to like try to choke me. And I'm like, whoa, like I'm just in shock. I'm literally in shock. My brain almost is like slowing down, being like, what? Just because I feel like I've really made it clear to life. I'm like, protect me, like, and I was just in shock that this person, that wasn't even a person, and he was choking me, and then I was like trying to like punch him and get off, and he like, I was like, okay. And then at this moment, I was just like, I just said like, Archangel, like I was just like, I'm deciding this isn't happening to me right now. Like, this isn't a part of what I'm choosing for myself. And I just said in my mind, Archangel Michael. I didn't say, Archangel Michael, help. I just said, Archangel Michael. And split second, like that split moment, there was no thought. It was just like my body lunged into the river. Somehow I like, the river was still a couple meters away, but I somehow like got away from his hand and like lunged in the river. And then it like almost woke him up a little bit. And then he was like, and he just, thank God he didn't follow me in the river. And then he grabbed my bag and ran. And I was like, oh my God, like, thank you. Wow. And I was just like, I was so in shock. I was just in this like very cold river, fully clothed, and just like being like, okay, now what do I do? Like, he might be waiting for me in the path. Like, I don't know what to do. Okay, like, so I just got the courage up, and I was like, I'm too scared to go to the river and grab my shoes because he didn't take my shoes, and I just flowed down the river and just prayed. Like, I had seen the river a bit and I knew there weren't any like intense rapids coming up, but it still was a pretty strong current. So just like very much in shock, I went down the banks of the river, and then I found this cliff later on, like 10-minute flow down the river, and I climbed up this cliff and just like fully soaking wet, fully clothed with no shoes, just walked back to my Airbnb. And that day, sometimes I bring my my key with me, but that day I decided to leave it in the lockbox, and so I still had my key. And I also am very conscientious when I travel. I don't bring anything I don't need, so I didn't have any money. I didn't have my cell phone because I knew I was just going for a walk to the river. So he got my bag with like a tapestry in it to sit down, so that was good. So I was like very protected, and I also felt like, oh my God, like water. I was like, Archangel Michael, and literally water just saved my life, because I don't know what would have happened. Like, I guess I can't say for sure he would have killed me, but I mean, if someone is strangling you and choking you, it's probably not good. And I just feel like that deep connection with Archangel Michael, his energy was so inside of me that I just tuned into it, and I was like, Archangel Michael, and then immediately it was like the way out. And yeah, so I wanted to share that, one, because, just forgive me because I'm emotional again. It was like, I still haven't like fully processed it, but, I'm grateful because I was scared that when I was going to walk in nature by myself after that, I was like really going to like have trauma and not be able to, which happened a little bit in the south of France, but when I left, I was okay. So I'm really grateful for that. But I wanted to share this with you, one, because I think that people can think that working with angels is so non-consequential, kind of fluffy, just like some cool oracle cards, and ask the angel for help. Thanks, Jenna saying, I'm so proud of you that you still go in nature on your own. Yeah, Brandy saying hugs, Beth, thank you. So I just want to share with you, like, these archangels are so powerful and they're so real, and I can't tell you why some people don't make it out. A lot of people don't make it out. A lot of women don't make it out. And I can't explain to you the way that the universe decides, and, we decide what happens in our life and what traumas we experience. But all I know is that based on that very strong connection with the divine and with Archangel Michael, when I was like, I decide I'm protected and you are protecting me right now. This saved my life, or at least saved my body from an incredibly traumatic event, and my sexuality probably. So archangels, and I just want to give that up to the light, and I ask that all of that, like anything that might be triggered within you right now, I just ask Archangel Michael himself to come in and to hold us right now, and to hold what he's, showing me is he also wants to hold any trauma that anybody has who is listening, whether that's physical trauma, sexual trauma, ancestral trauma. So Archangel Michael is coming in and holding that part of us that has experienced this. And he's also sharing, there's a reason some of you listening have experienced trauma for the reason that you took it on for the healing of the globe. And so he's saying, it's not that I'm not protecting you if you've experienced deep trauma. There's a pattern to your life events that only your soul light completely understands and your higher self completely understands. But he's saying if it's a soul choice for you that you're no longer experiencing violation in these ways, then with everything that he is, he can and he will step forward to always protect you. He cannot violate the will of your higher self, though, okay? So I know it sounds fucked up, but there are some times where it's actually in our higher self's design for us to experience trauma and violation because of what it clears for the collective. But those cases, I would say ask Archangel Michael, because if it's a soul choice that you no longer want to experience that, and you don't want your children to experience that or your loved ones to experience that anymore, then you can really let that be known and let that be felt. Because I feel like I've experienced trauma in many lifetimes, and in this lifetime, I was like, I'm fucking done. That's why when that was happening to me, I was like, no, I've decided that this isn't happening to me anymore. Archangel Michael, and he got me out. There's like so many questions, around this situation, and obviously I don't have all the answers, but I just, want to recommend you to really work deeply with Archangel Michael, with that blue ray, and just declare, like, Archangel Michael, I am protected. You are protecting me. But here's the thing, we also have to listen to our higher selves, because that day, if you've listened to my whole story so far, you might recognize that there were signs from my body and from my intuition that were like, leave. When I got to that place in nature, it didn't have great energy. It didn't align with my feelings of wanting to feel held and expansive, but I pushed through anyway. 2, my body told me it wanted to leave. And at the time that it told me that, I would have been gone by the time that man got there. And I overrid what my body was telling me, because I said, that doesn't make sense, body. I'm in nature in the sun. We should stay here. And 3, I was really engaging with those shadow forces because I was fucking pissed off. But instead of saying, I forgive you, I don't understand why this happened in my human consciousness, but I give this to the light and I pray for healing for all involved, I was pushing up against him and was like, fuck you. And then I think that actually really allowed something to get through. Even though I'm so protected, I have to also honor that it's my job to still keep my focus in a space of the heart, because that is the ultimate protection. So thank you so much for your comments. Jenna, because life is good. So anyway, archangels are super real. Please ask Archangel Michael for help every day. You can work with the blue ray and the blue flames very strongly. You can surround anything that you want to be protected in blue fire or blue ray. If you want your home to be protected, if you want your car to be protected, if you want your money to be protected, if you want your children to be protected, if you want your animals to be protected, if you want the entire world to be protected, use the blue ray and blue light. And so say I was leaving my house, I usually I'm Canadian, so our houses are usually quite safe. It's a pretty safe country. But say I was leaving my house in South Africa, where I lived for a while. I would say, Archangel Michael, thank you for protecting this home. And I would place blue ray and blue flames around it as an example. So you can work with the blue ray, Archangel Michael, that power. You can work with the sword of the blue flame, the blue flaming sword. and you can initiate yourself with it to be aligned with truth and to be aligned with power, true soul's power, because that's what it does. There's so many different ways that you can work with Archangel Michael. And we're obviously going to go really deep with him in the Rainbow Ray School of the Angels, which starts in 1 week from now, April 6th. And we're going to be working with the blue ray, just totally the blue ray, and Archangel Michael and his feminine aspect, Archaea Faith, for 2 whole weeks. And I'm going to give you guided meditations and an activation. So you too, if you're not already, can really experience the power of Archangel Michael and what he can do in your life. It's also one of the reasons why I still do feel safe to go all around the world. From France, I still continue to travel by myself, and I continue to go everywhere by myself, because I recognize where I have a role in aligning with that blue light of protection, listening to my body, listening to the space of love. And when I don't, I know that I still have protection with me. So I believe in this spiritual protection. I believe in Archangel Michael's power. I know it to my core. So yeah, of course, we're going to be working with this energy in the Rainbow Ray School of the Angels. We're also going to be working with many other archangels. And here's what I believe. I believe that your soul has a main archangel, that it is its mentor, that is its almost it's almost like you have an archangel twin flame, even though that's totally the wrong words, but it kind of reminds me of that. Archangel Michael is the archangel that I work under. They've shown me that for your soul's mission, thanks, Jenna, for your soul's mission, you have to understand that there's so many archangels holding the grid and holding different missions for this planet. So there are certain people that are here to work with animals. There are certain people who are here to work in the medical fields. There are certain people who are here to, teach. There are certain people who are here to, just so many things. Artists, so many things, right? And there are archangels holding the grid lines and holding all of these people and souls in their soul's mission and sort of orchestrating how this needs to happen to invite in the golden age of miracles that we are ushering in. And your soul has an archangel that it sort of works under, even though that's not the best way of saying it based on our associations with patriarchy and hierarchy. But for lack of a better word, there is an archangel that your soul works under as kind of that's why I say Archangel Michael feels like my boss in the best of ways, the most respectful, loving boss you could ever want, beautiful, sacred, fucking epic boss, because I do feel like I work for Archangel Michael. I'm on the blue ray team. I'm a blue ray being, and I work for the liberation of all beings with my specialty of supporting people aligning with their soul's mission and to be truth tellers with their own soul. I'm an oracle. I'm a bridge between the spirit world, the angelic realms, the ocean, the dolphins, the whales, and the earth. And I stream in those blue codes. And, and it's been so helpful for me to work with Archangel Michael to remember. But you too have an archangel that you sort of work under or work for or work with. So in the Rainbow Ray School of the Angels, we're going to be working with many archangels. I don't even know how many archangels, a lot, so that you can also, if you haven't already, awaken to your main archangel connection. Your archangel will show himself or herself or itself to you, themselves, I guess, in the Rainbow Ray School of the Angels. Guaranteed they're going to come through in your dream time, in your meditation, whether you can fully sense them or not right away, to be hey, yay, you're awakening to our epic connection, and really come through to support you. And the archangels are meant to be working side by side with humanity. They are already, but they also honor free will, because this specific universe is a universe of free will. And of course, the archangels are going to honor the parameters that Source has set for this universe. They serve Mother, Father, God. So if you are trying to live your mission and to go about your life without asking for the archangels for help, that's silly. You have a principal archangel that your soul and your higher self is working with. And you have so many angels to call upon that are literally at your beck and call to support you. So if this calls to you, if you're like, wow, like I really actually want to work with the archangels and the angels and the rainbow rays and like actually get fucking badass about it. Because this is not fluffy stuff, you guys. This is like really badass shit. Like, I'm swearing a lot in this video, but like, whatever. You know, this is like really potent. And when I was making the sales page for the Rainbow Ray School of the Angels, I was like, how on earth do I describe the epic power of the archangels in words? And I just still am at a loss. You feel it if you have really gone deep with them. And of course, I would love to journey with you in the Rainbow Ray School of the Angels for 4 months, starting on April 6th, to really help you open the portal to let the archangels come through. They're aspects of yourself. We're all one. You are calling on your greater, vaster consciousness to wake you up to your limitless power, your limitless abundance, the light of your soul, and your soul's mission. And every single archangel is going to have a piece for you. Archangel Michael is going to be your mentor in aligning with your soul's mission. There are so many people on this planet that are way more attached to external things staying the same than they are to their commitment for their soul's mission. They might be in relationships that are not ultimately serving their soul's mission, but that codependence keeps them there. Or they may be very attached to living in a certain place where they know how things run and they feel safe and things work when their soul is asking them to make a change, when their soul mission is telling them something different. So working with Archangel Michael wakes you up out of attachment consciousness. I'm going to say that again. Working deeply with Archangel Michael wakes you up out of attachment consciousness. Not overnight, bit by bit, so that you can actually follow through on your soul's mission rather than unconsciously listening to the fears and the attachments of the ego. We are in training to not only be spiritual masters, but reveal the mastery and reveal the masters that we already are. This is why I'm saying this is really deep stuff. This isn't fluffy. This isn't, I'm just going to go and do this thing that my higher self said no to and my soul said no to, but I'm going to call in the angels because I pulled an oracle card and they're so fun. Yay, angels. Like, if you really want to enter into the arena with the archangels, they're going to hold you accountable with the most amount of divine crystalline love and light that you could ever imagine, and say, this is for real. This lifetime is for real. This lifetime is incredibly important, and you are an incredibly important part of the divine plan. And even when you don't feel like doing the next thing for your soul's mission, even when you're tired, even when you're scared, the archangels are going to come in and they're going to say, you can do it. We're holding you. And even though this is scary, we're going to support you in activating that courage that you can keep going. And this is really blue ray. That's more the energy of the blue ray. But we're going to be working with many rays and many archangels in this journey. They're all going to have different pieces for you. And it's going to be a really beautiful experience. So thank you so much for listening today. I hope that this transmission served you in one way or another. I also want to mention that if you join the Rainbow Ray School of the Angels, there is an option to work one-on-one with me, where I channel your angels, your spirit guides, and commune with your higher self. So there is also an option of adding one-on-one mentorship, whether that's just one session or we meet monthly for 4 months if you really want to go deeper into this experience. So there's a lot to play around. The link to learn more is in my bio, or if you're watching this on YouTube, it's under this video. And I'm just looking at my face, I'm like, wow, we're really in the rainbow ray energy. Because I have some like film over my windows that make it rainbow because I love rainbow. So much love. You can DM me with any questions, and may you call on the archangels. May you work with the archangels, remembering that they're aspects of your own massive consciousness. They are just reminding you of how massive and powerful you are, and they're going to support you in your soul's mission, your relationships, your abundance. They're here to be your mentors. They're here to be your guides. Spirit, Source, Mother, Father, God did not drop us on this planet with no help. The angels are here for us, but we need to ask them every day, because that opens the door to allow them to really, really support us. So much love, many blessings, and see you later.